I have to click. Okay, we are all set to start.
There is some on time.
Shuklambaradaram Vishnum Sashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vigno Pashantaye Dorbiryukta Chaturbispatikamaнимayim Akshamalam Dadhana Haste Naikena Padmam Sitamapicha Shukam Pustakam Chaparena Bhasa Kunde Dushankaspatikamanibha Bhasamana Samana Same Vagdevateyam Nivasatu Vadane Sarvada Suprasanna Kujantam Rama Rameti Madhuram Madhuraksharam Aruhya Kavita Shakam Vande Valmiki Kokilam Valmike Munisimhasya Kavita Vanacharinaha Shrinvan Rama Katanatam Konayati Param Gatim Goshpati Kritavarashim Mashaki Kritarakshasam Ramayana Mahamala Ratnam Bande Nilatmajam Yatra Yatra Raghunatha Kirtanam Tatra Tatra Kritamastakanjalim Bashpavari Paripurna Lochanam Marutim Namatarakshasantakam Vaidehi Sahitam Suradrumatale Haime Mahamandape Madhye Pushpakamasane Manimaye Virasane Sustitam Agre Vajeti Prapanjanute Tattvam Munibhya Param Vyakyantam Bharatadibi Parivritam Ramam Bhaje Shyamalam Namostu Ramaya Salakshmanaya Devyai Chatasyai Janakatmajayai Namostu Rudrendra Yamanilebhyaha Namostu Chandrarka Marudganebhyaha Harihi Om. Okay, so we are in Ayodhya Kanda. The beginning of Ayodhya Kandam is very interesting. While the story is that Dasaratha wants to hand over the reins to Rama, the most interesting part is how did he go about? That is, I think, very, very important for us to understand. Because, in many of the companies, in particular family-owned business, the owner finds it difficult. The owner, because after all, he or she has put a lot of effort. So taking the hands off. So there are 2-3 very interesting messages we saw. How to go to Vanaprastha Ashrama and all that. So the most important thing is our ability to loosen our grip in the world. We can't, hold on like this until Yama calls us. There is a time when we have to move on. That message has come very well, as we saw. The other message is the way he actually went about also. He could have simply said Rama is the next king. That is the end of the story. He says, Dasaratha says Rama is the next king. Everybody has to nod their head. In fact, when everybody nodded their head, he did not agree. He said, are you nodding the head simply because I told? These are very wonderful lessons of how do we, the credibility is a function of how we do things, not the outcome. So all those we saw. And if you remember in the last class when we stopped, Dasaratha once again asked, no, I have my own doubt. You are simply telling Rama because I told. But he says, Madhyastha Chintanam. It is better that somebody has a neutral thinking. So you are all like that in some ways. Therefore, you should tell me again. So like that he asked. Then all these assembly people also narrated the good qualities of Rama. Because Valmiki will find an opportunity to come and tell the good qualities of Rama, because that is something which he does all the time. Whenever there is an opportunity. So this is a very interesting stage. So the assembly also starts saying that no, it is not what you said. We find very interesting properties about Rama, very important qualities about Rama. We saw one or two. Some of them are in some ways the repeat of what Valmiki has said. But it is only reinforcing, because we should know what are these qualities that we must have as a person to be. That is why at the expense of repetition, it is told a few times. So we will see some of those again in this session. So second Sarga, we were in 54 verses. First 9 verses, Dasaratha convenes the assembly. He calls all the kings. He calls the Janapata. Everybody he calls and says, I want to step down. And then he proposes the name of Rama. We saw all that in the last class. Assembled people concur with him, but then Dasaratha again critically inquired. He says, no. You are just saying because I said. So he asked them again. We stopped there. So we will see some shlokas between 26 and 54, where some good attributes of Rama is once again narrated by the assembly. We'll see some of them. Dujair abhivinitascha sreshtar dharmartha naipunaihi sreshtair dharmartha naipunaihi yada brajati sangramam gramarte nagarasya va gatva saumitri sahitah na vijitya nivartate. Dujaihi abhivinitascha sreshtaihi dharmartha naipunaihi. So there are 3 attributes of people who trained Rama. That is the first line. Who trained Rama? There are 3. Sreshtaihi. Sreshtas. Sreshtas means karma sreshta, achara sreshta, vidya sreshta, everything. So people who are sreshtas in karma, achara, dharma and jnana, like that. So sreshtaihi. Dharmartha nipunaihi. Those who are experts in knowing what is dharma and what is artha. Dharmartha. This purushartha is very, very important. So those who are very competent, who have a very good understanding of dharma and artha. So that is the second attribute. Dvijaihi, the best of the twice born. Dvijaihi abhivinitascha sreshtaihi dharmartha nipunaihi abhivinitah. One he is brought, who is led, who is brought forward, means he was educated with the best of these people. So sreshtaihi, so all these are about Rama. These are all in Bahurihi. Though the one who is trained by, there are so many attributes of the people trained, but the description is about the one who is Rama. So the first line says Rama. Yada vrajati sangramam gramarte nagarasyava. Right? When he goes, sangramam, for war. So when he goes for a war, gramarte nagarasyava, for purpose of town or a grama. Because that is one role of a kshatriya. Na? So, yada vrajati sangramam gramarte nagarasyava gatva, having gone, and with whom he goes? Saumitrena saha. Sumitra putraha Saumitraha Lakshmanaha. So Saumitra sahitaha, along with Lakshmana. So Lakshmana and Rama is one duet. Bharata and Shatrugna is other. Huh? Yeah. So Saumitra sahitaha na avijitya. So there are two negatives here. Jitva means winning. Ajitva means losing. Na ajitva means not losing. So actually it is winning. So there are two negative. Na and avijitya. Nivartate. Which means he goes, he never loses. He only wins and comes back. Which means he is a top-rated Kshatriya. He has that attributes which are required for a Kshatriya to be. So that is what is being conveyed through right training by the greatest people. With that, he can go and whenever it is required, conquer whether it is a grama or a nagara and come always winning. You will never lose. So the qualities of a great Kshatriya is what is being narrated here. Then it says, Sangramat punaragamya kunjarena ratena va pauran swajanavan nityam kushalam pariprichati putresh vagnishudareshu preshya sishya ganeshu cha nikilena anupurvyacha pita putrani vaurasan. Now, what does he do when he comes back? See, when the VIPs come back, everything is stopped. The road is cleared. So 100 kilometers per hour they go. This is today's VIP. Traffic jam. Everything is stopped in Bangalore. So now Kumarasamy will go. Just now I suffered it. D.K. Shivakumar came to that place. From where I came. There is some puja ide. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಶಿವನ ದೇವಸ್ಥಾನ ಏನೋ ಇದೆ. ಸಾವಿರಾರು ಗಾಡಿಗಳು, hundreds of vehicles. So I got little delay. I left at 2 and reached at 4:30 home. And I rushed to picking my bag. I came running. I went there for a Guru Purnima program. I was, Om Shanti Dham. I just came back. Anyway, so that is today's leaders. Whereas what does he do? He says, Sangramat, from the war, Punaragamya, as he returns, Punaragamanam is coming back. So Sangramat Punaragamya, Kunjarenava Ratenava, he may come in an elephant or he may come in a chariot. There are some panthas are there, depending upon the type of victory and all that. But anyway, Kunjarenava Ratenava, whichever way he comes, when he passes through the grama, he stops. These are the elements of leadership. That's what is being told here. So, Kunjarenava, Ratenava, Sangramat Punaragamya, having returned from the war either on an elephant or on a chariot, Pauran, Pure Nevasanti, those city dwellers, means when the VIP, when the leader goes out from his Antapura and from his fort, when he goes into the Nagara, it is a good leadership practice to mingle with them, to talk to them, to spend time with them. That gives the credibility of leadership. These are modern leadership who are all doing it after much thought. Whereas these are already mentioned here. So Pauran Swajanavat Nityam Kushalam Pariprichati. Janavat plus Nityam, Janavan Nityam. That's a Sandhi. Swajanavat. It is as though you meet your kith and kin. Nityam. This is his practice forever. It is not that he will do sometime, he will not do some other time. It is not like that. Nityam Kushalam Pariprichati. Pauran Swajanavat Nityam kushalam paripruchati. He inquires their well-being. Is everything fine? Right? Now, what kind of inquiry he makes? Next two lines says that. Putreshu, Agnishu, Dareshu, Presheshu, Sishyaganeshu. Preshya, Sishyaganeshu. So, how is his family? Everything is fine. Wife is fine. Your Agnishu means, is your karma, everything you are doing properly? That is the meaning. Inquires about the fire means, he's not asking, is there fire? If you maintain fire, means you are doing all your Vedika karma properly. That is the meaning there. So is everything fine? Is everything properly happening? How is your family, wife, daughter, your working class, right? Preshyagana, Sishyas, your students, in case if you are a, so Nikhilena Anupurvayasya, fully in detail. It is not upachara. It is a genuineness. See, when you ask in detail, that shows the genuineness. Some people ask for the sake of it. You can make it out. Simply for formality, they will ask you, and even before you answer, they go. So that is pure upacharika. It's not like that. Nikhilena, in detail, aram se. Which means I have strong desire in your welfare. These are all great leadership qualities. In corporate, you should do this. Great leaders do that. They talk to the subordinates, they meet them, they go into the office, they spend time with them. That is what is being told here.
In army, there is a culture, there is a culture that whenever a senior officer visits from outstation or otherwise, either the army or the navy, any of the
Armed forces.
they specifically go to the junior most officer and the juniors and
That's a great act of motivation, sir. They need motivation. In army, armed forces, the raw material is motivation. Muscle power is later. That is why they do. They get very energized. See, one fire, I have seen it in the US when I was there for 10 months. I have again and again seen it. Now Modi is doing. In US, if one fire broke out in a building, okay, and this firefighting fire engine, in some big fire, if one of that fire engine tender dies, president comes. Because they are doing selfless work. That motivation is very, very important for such. So if a fire tender, that attender in the fire engine dies, the paper covers it in a big way. The president of America goes. Modi, Nirmala Sitaraman, now you see that culture a little more. That is very important. You should be with the people. That is an element of great leadership. So that is what he's saying. Pita putran iva aurasan. He inquires as though a father and a son, how they deal with each other. That kind of a vatsalya. Putra vatsalya. That's a great element of leadership, actually. So that is being explained in this shloka as how this great Rama is all about. Vyasaneshu manushyanam brisham bhavati dukkhitaha utsaveshu cha sarveshu piteva paritushyati. So great leadership acts. It will not come to ordinary people. Only people with strength of character. The vyaktitva vikasa evarku agidyo avare madu. Nobody else can do it. Only such person can do. That personality that inside must have fully blossomed. Only such people can do it. What is it saying? Vyasaneshu, manushyanam vyasaneshu. If you are in a very difficult situation, right? Brisham bhavati dukkha. He also feels. It's called empathy. See, there is a difference between sympathy. English word, nearest English word is empathy. See, there is a difference between sympathy and empathy. You have to understand. It's very important to understand the difference between sympathy and empathy. If a bhikshuka, one beggar comes asking for alms, if you show sympathy, you can throw the 1 rupee. Sympathy has force of gravity. You are at a higher plane. The person to be helped is at a lower plane, so there is a force of gravity. Papa, the mental framework is only that much. You look down upon him. That is called sympathy. Empathy is what Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and Vivekananda said, Daridra Narayana. If somebody asks for alms, you have first to worship him because God has given you an opportunity to help him. That is one. But empathy is much more than that. I have told this story a few times. I want to tell that story today. Long back I must have told. You know, this 7-8 years back in Mantralaya, that big flood happened.
Yes, yes.
Massive flood happened. Correct? Yes. So many people lost their homes, right? So there is one organization called Gunj. They collect, I happen to know, I know that person, he had a conversation he was mentioning. He said, there were lots of items given by people, Bangalore and all that, which no well-meaning person will ever touch.
So all discarded.
Discarded, torn. Whereas, you know, they come from a locality. October 2nd, they do actually every year. I know that October 2nd, they give, if you give some class, you know, they properly iron it, properly they and then give it. I know I have a few years I have sort of, I was very thankful. Right? So in that Mantralaya, the question was very simple. I used to ask my students, you are a very wealthy person, God has been kind to you, one earthquake happened, you came to the middle of the road. I asked my students, how many of you will wear a torn shirt and a torn pant? It is just in 1 second it happened. You lost your house, you came to the middle of the road. How many of you will wear a shirt which is torn? How many of you will give a doll to your child? You have a 2-year-old daughter or son who is also on the road with you. How many of you will give a doll which is broken? None of us will do. I would rather die of hunger than jump into the dustbin and then eat a food which was thrown into the dustbin. Will I? I will never. So when we give, so I said, you put yourself first there. If the earthquake has happened here, what would you receive? You have to ask first. Then you decide what to give. This is called empathy. Step into the shoes. This is empathy. What Rama is doing is empathy. Brisham bhavati dukkitaha. These all will happen only for a personality, for an individual which has developed its character fully. This will happen only to a person who is spiritual. It will not happen to any, for all others, it's all transaction. How do I get rid of it? I'll hide behind and then at least as though I am giving some dana and dharma to dispose. That man, Gunj man told the disposal cost was much, much, much higher. We don't know what to do with this. We don't want this help. What help are we giving? Because people are showing sympathy, they're not showing empathy. If you show empathy, you will ask, if I were there, what will happen to me? What will I receive? Then you decide what to give. That is what Rama is doing here. If you look at this shloka. Utsaveshu cha, sarveshu utsaveshu. In all happy occasions, pituhu iva paritushyati. Pitu iva paritushyati. Like a father is so joyous of the achievements of the son or the daughter or his child or his offspring, he has that kind of a joy. So this is called empathy. It is very important we develop empathy in life. We should never develop sympathy. Nobody wants your sympathy. Nobody on earth wants sympathy. But they'll be very grateful to you if you are empathetic. That is what is coming through this. Showing empathy is a high order of character development. Prajapalana tattvajnah naragopahate shaktastrailokyamapyeko ekah bhoktum kinnu mahim imam. The next thing says, Prajapalana tattvajnah. He, see, whenever you put jna in Sanskrit, jna means jnana. Right? So, Prajapalana tattvajna means one who has the knowledge of Prajapalana, which means his administrative science, his political science is good. His Kshatriya Dharma is very good. His administrative capability as a head of the state, that is Prajapalana tattvajna, one who knows it. Prajapala tattvajna na raga upahata indriya. Na upapate indriya. He is not one who by his raga, which means his emotions and all his these feelings coming out of emotions will not sway him. He is not a victim and a slave of senses, sensory organs. That's what it says. Na raga upahata indriyah. Then it says, Shaktah Tailokyamapi Ekaha Bhoktum Shaktah. In fact, Bhoktum means not eating, means ruling. Consuming means ruling. It's not a literal meaning we should take that. He is capable of ruling the three worlds. Shaktah Trailokyamapi Ekaha Bhoktum. He himself can manage all the three worlds. Kim to, what to talk of just one, Mahim Imam. Can he not rule this particular one world? While he is capable of ruling three worlds, what do you talk of one world? That's what the assembled people are saying. They are saying he is the most competent. He did not nod our head just because you asked us. He is indeed competent. Nasya krodha prasadascha nirartosti kadachana hantyeva niyamat vadyat avadhyena cha kupyati. Na asya krodha nirartah prasadascha. The favor that he gives or the anger that he got never goes in vain, means it has meaning. It is not anartha. It is very appropriate. Very appropriate. That is the meaning there. It says, Na asya krodha prasadascha nirartha asti. Never it becomes anartha. Never it becomes futile. Never it goes in vain. Which means he is very appropriate in responding. That's why Jita krodha jata roshasya bibhyati. We saw it in the first sarga of Balakanda. Again and again I am saying that because that is very, very important attribute that people must have.
This is also meaning of Satya. That meaning for Satya.
Hantyeva niyamat vadyan avadhyena cha kupyati. So avadhyena na cha kupyati. So somebody who should not be killed, he won't touch. When he doesn't. But if somebody has to be killed, he will kill. See, Tataka in Balakanda, he had a split second of dilemma. Because Vishwamitra asked him to kill the Tataka. For a moment he said, oh, it's a woman, should I kill? One split second he had that dilemma. Kim kartavyamudaha. But takshana tasya nivaranam abhavat. Immediately it cleared to him. So that is what it is. That clarity of thought. It only talks about the clarity of thought. See, this dilemma is only for a person who doesn't have a dharmic framework. See, if you have dilemma in life, that means our dharmic framework is not good. A person who has a very good dharmic framework will never have dilemma. Never have dilemma. That's why Parashurama took the parashu and finished his mother without the second thought. Dharma sukshma is there. They're all very deep thoughts. A framework of dharma will never make you into any ethical, moral dilemma, because dharma actually addresses all that. A good understanding of that will only get us. So, but that means he is dharmajnaha, dharma nipunaha. That is the meaning that you get here. So all that they said, a few shlokas are there. I have skipped some of them. We have come to the end of the sargam now. What does he say? Tesham ayachitam deva tvat prasadat samruddhyatam ramam indivarashyamam sarvashatruni barhanam pashyamo yavvarajyastam tavarajottamatmajam. So after saying all that, therefore for all that reasons that we have said, 27 shlokas, 25 shlokas are there, 26 to 51 or 52, 27 shlokas are there, in which Rama's qualities have been repeated by Valmiki once again. We have to read those Rama's qualities again and again. That's the only way we can inspire ourselves to be that perfect individual. Ramo Vigrahavan Sadhuhu. That's why, he is the embodiment of dharma. Sadhu dharma parakramaha. That is the description. So, tesham ayachitam deva, right? Tvat prasadat samruddhyatam. So, by your act, let this good thing happen and let there be smruddhi. You create that, that is the most appropriate thing that can happen. Therefore, you please do that. Let it happen through your kind action of that being taken. That's what he says. Ramam indivarashyamam. All those are nice adjectives for Rama. Ramam indivarashyamam. Right? Blue lotus. Right? Indivarashyamam. Sarva shatru nibarhanam. One who can destroy all shatrus. Who can eliminate and finish off all the shatrus if the situation demands. Sarva shatru nibarhanam. All these are adjectives for Rama. Pashyamaha. We would like to see as what? Yavarajyastam. The state of Yavarajya. In other words, we want to see him as the prince. Right? Tava Rajottama Atmajam. You are Uttama Atmajam. You are the most Sreshtatama Putra. We want to see him as the prince. So the assembly finally concluded in Sarga 2. Now we did not nod our head just because you may think you are the boss, you are the CEO. Therefore, whatever you say, we will say. We also have strong reasons to say that he is the most appropriate person to be the next Raja. So in the first two Sargas, very beautifully, Dasaratha brings, see, there are a few events in Ramayana we will not understand. For example, we may still wonder, why did Rama act so cruelly to Sita after the war? There are very deep thoughts. You and I don't have to do it. The head of the state has to do a few things. In the same way, Dasaratha knows very well Rama is the next prince. He could have simply made him. That is not what is to be done. There are things that you have to do so that there is a large scale understanding and acceptance of that decision. This is the burden of a decision maker. So he has artificially gone through all that, because this whole conversation will make the whole country completely convinced that he is the leader. This is why it has to be done. So Sita's Agni Pravesha was not for Rama. I mean, the Vasalya, Paraspara Vasalya and Prema and Preeti Rama and Sita had, you have to see to believe it. To even after to do it, he realizes he is a leader of a large mass. So there are certain things to be done only for it. I mean, this is a burden of leadership. People are all commenting it in different ways. So this is to be done because that brings it to there is not even the slightest iota of any doubt of any kind, which is a part of a larger principle of administration. Actually, that is why he did all that. So all that is done. Now the third Sarga logically is that you have to call Rama because the public credibility acceptance has happened. So Dasaratha moves there. That is where the story moves. Again, there are interesting messages there, apart from the story for us. So 49 verses in the third Sarga. Verses 1 to 6, Dasaratha requests Vasishtha to make arrangement. Now everything is cleared. We have to do Rama Pattabhisheka now. So he calls Vasishtha and Vamadeva. And he says, whatever is the Vyavastha required, please do all that. So that is in the first 6 Sargas. Detailed set of instructions. If you read that Shlokas 7 to 19, what a level of detail. In fact, this level of detail you will see in Putra Kameshti also. In the Balakanda, in the 14, 15 Sarga, if you see, so much instructions, how to, where people must be, arrangements must be made for staying, how the food arrangements, how much food you have to cook, so many arrangements. The same way, in one shot, there are about, 14 shlokas in which in great detail, they are all, rishis are vyavahara kushalaha. You have to understand that. They are great administrators. We think that rishi means, he will sit in one, middle of the forest. Nothing like that. They were better than our CEOs, actually. That's why in Chandogya Upanishad, Raja goes to the Rishi. Rishi says, Nalpe Sukamasti Bhumavai Sukam. Rishi goes and tells Raja, there is no great charm in small little things. It's like a CEO saying, aim big, think big. Rishi is telling to the Raja, Na alpe sukamasti, bhumavai sukam, yet alpam tad martyam. If you pursue small little things, they are all mortal. You should go for immortality. Rishi is saying. So Rishis were vyavahara kushalaha, great administrators. Because movies show Rishi with some 3 feet beard, some anthill around him, nobody around. So our mental model thinks Rishi means Sada Sida, he will sit in one corner, you can just leave him, nothing will happen. It's not like that. They were all great thinkers and they were the embodiment of knowledge. They were the embodiment of action. So he gave so many instructions, which you will read in Shlokas 7 to 19. Okay. Then Dasaratha calls Sumantra and say, go and fetch Rama. He sends Sumantra, bring Rama. The 5 shlokas. And 26 to 36, Rama arrives in the court of Dasaratha, and the way he arrives, his mood are all described there. How he actually approached, his father. It's all mood. It's so beautiful to read. So this is the charm of Ramayana. Ramayana showed Rama as a human being with full of emotions. These emotions are going to be destroyed in 4 sargas from 5 sargas from now. But it showed that each one of us are human beings, like Rama was also like us. If you portray Rama as a god, then we will say, he is God, he can go through all that. We can't. So Valmiki brought Rama as a human being. So if you read those 10 shlokas, it simply shows how happy mood and how he was when he was called, because he could guess what it was. So beautiful, the way he came, he's described how majestic he was and how he approached his father, how the throne was, and all so many nice descriptions are there in the 10 shlokas, the 26 to 36. Then Dasaratha, of course, informs his son that you will be the Yuvaraja, right? That nice shlokas are there, 37 to 45. And then Rama is very happy, and then he, and some of the Rama's friends, charm of Ramayana is it is very realistic. Moment this message is broken, some of the court people and all that immediately rush to Kausalya and tell your son is now the Yuvraj. She is very happy. The mood of the mother is also brought, because Rama's birth to Kausalya, if you see, is a great act of, even a little bit in Uttarakhand is also there. I think some stories are there. It's a great act this mother has done. So naturally she was very happy. All those are there, and Rama leaves the court. So those are the shlokas. Those are the messages in this sarga. We'll see a few shlokas. I am straight away gone to 40th shloka. The front are all mood and nice things. You can read it. I am interested in some messages. Yatastvaya prajaschemas Swagunairanurangitaha tasmat tvam pushya yogena yauvarajyamavapnuhi. The father informs the son. Tvaya yataha. Yataha tvaya prajas iba prajaha. See, you endeared yourself and made yourself so favorite and sought after by the prajaha. So, swagunaihi yataha tvaya praja ima prajaha anuranjitaha. They are all attracted by your effort, self-effort of being so nice and good. So the subjects are all so attracted by you. Tasmat, therefore, tvam pushya yogena, pushya nakshatra. Next day is the pushya nakshatra. Pushya yogena Yauvarajyam avapnuhi. So I have therefore decided to make you the prince. Tomorrow, when the Pushya star is in conjunction, at that time, you will be made the Yuvaraja. So he informs Rama of the decision. So this is that nice shloka which brings that first news of breaking to Rama, which is only to be wiped off by Kaikeyi after some time. Then Rama gives a few advices. You know, to be a king, there are a few things. He gives 2-3 shlokas are nice shlokas of advices. All Rajiniti, these are all part of a little public administration. Those messages are here actually. It says, Bhuyo niyatamastaya bhavanityam chitendriyaha kamakroda samuttani tyajeta vyasanani cha. None of the political leaders are doing any of this. They go and slap the officer in public. They get into the, Indigo Airlines and, Air India and shout and pull and hit and all that. What he is saying is exactly anti to that. First thing he says is, Bhuya, again, Niyamamastaya, Vinayamastaya. Humility is extremely important mark of leadership. Humility is very, very important. Niyamamastaya, Nityam Jitendriyaha Bhava. Conquer your senses. None of the politicians know what it means to conquer the senses. They let it loose. Slapping somebody here, shouting at somebody, doing this, doing that. Today's political class will not measure anywhere near Ramayana. Not even parts per million. So he says, Bhuyo Vinayamastaya Bhavanityam Jitendriya. First advice is humility, controlling your senses are extremely important. Just because you have become the prince, this should not get into your head. Right? Kama krodha samuttani tyajeta vyasananicha. You have to, keeping off all these, right? And you should, all these, both the lines are related to one another. See, by conquering your senses, what do? I am keeping out of lust and anger and all those. Kama and krodha, all that, you have to be out of that because Kama Yesha Krodha is a Rajoguna Samudva. We saw beautifully the transformation of Kaushika into Vishwamitra. That time I brought those shlokas. The surest way to destroy is to get overpowered by Kama and Krodha. And the surest way to evolve and go to the top of the world is to be devoid of Kama and Krodha. Which means your Rajoguna must be under your control. Because Sri Krishna has said, Kama Yesha Krodha Yesha Rajoguna Samudbhavaha. Mahapapma Mahashana. It will consume everything in life. It will destroy you, including yourself. That's why. Tejeta Vesananicha Bhava. Nityam Bhava. Forever you should be like that. Right? Parokshaya Vartamano Vrittaya Pratyakshaya Tata Amatya Prabhuti Sarvaha Prakriti Chanuranjaya. Pratyakshaya Parokshaya. Sometimes directly by your act, sometimes indirectly. The means need not be always direct. Sometimes it can be implicit also. Not all actions have to be explicit. Some of them can be implicit also. So parokshaya atava pratyakshaya vrittaya, your vritti, whatever you do, can be, the means can be direct or indirect. Right? Vartamana, your activities, vrittihi vartamana bhavati tat paroksha bhavet, pratyaksha bhavet. You keep doing that. By doing that, what should you do? Amatya. Amatyas are ministers. Right? Amatya prabhudihi sarvaha prakritischa. Prakriti are the other people, the subjects by and large. The people of the country. Prakriti is a samana pada for that. So, by your act, which sometimes are direct, sometimes are implicit and indirect, you have to keep these people satisfied. Otherwise, there is no purushartha of being a prince, purushartha of being the head of the state. There is the next advice he gives. Koshtagara yudhagaraihi kritva sannichayan bahun tushtan anurakta prakritiryaha palayati medinim tasya nandanti mitrani labdva mritamiva maraha tasmat tomapi chatmanam niyamyaivam samachara. These are all Niti Granthas. See, in this country, they don't write a separate Niti Grantha, separate story book, separate book for administration, separate book for Vyavahara Kaushala, separate book for self-evolution. Everything is weaved into any text you read. This is Niti. What he is talking about is the Rajaniti. That is what is written here. You read Chanakya Niti, you will find the same thing. What is he saying? Koshtagara yudagaraihi. Your granary must be full. In today's terms, the equivalent of that is, in 1991, the forex reserve we had, the forex reserve that we had would have been exhausted in 1.5 weeks. That was the level. That's when Narasimha Rao Garu actually came and did this. We pledged the gold in a British bank. So the Koshtagara must be full. It depleted, which is a very risky thing. If you read Chanakya Niti, you will find good descriptions. Arthashastra, you will find all these. So Rajaniti. So now Ramayana has become a Niti Grantha now. This is the charm of our text. You don't have to read separate. In one text, you can get everything. So you can choose one text and read it. That is the whole idea. And Yudagarehi, your arsenal. Abdul Kalam was a great believer in it. He said you should build great deterrence. You should have the best missiles with you. Nobody will wag their tail. You should never press the button. But you should have intercontinental ballistic missiles. He was the project director. BrahMos, which is more or less Brahmastra, intercontinental ballistic missile. Keep everything, line it up, put a 1000 watts bulb and then show it to the whole world. You don't have to touch the button at all. Deterrence is very important. That is the Yudagara. Yudagarehi kritva, right? Bahun sannichyan kritva. Fill it. Full. It should be always, right? Tushtan anurakta prakritihi. Make them satisfied. That is a ultimate acid test of ruling a land. Medinim palayati. That is so. This is a Rajaniti. How can you measure? It's what is called key performance index for a king to be. What are all the measures? Look at what is his forex reserve, balance of trade, and so on. Look at the power of deterrence that he has built. That's why we had under Abdul Kalam, we had Pokhran 2, which was a turning point in noticing India in the international world. Indira Gandhi did Pokhran 1 and Vajpayee did Pokhran 2. So that's what it is saying. You will be noted in the Committee of Nations only when you show your strength and keep your subjects satisfied. Otherwise, you will get a civil war. After the end of it, it is not worth it. Palayati medinim, tasya nandanti mitrani. That person will be, his friends will be celebrating him, will be happy about him. Tasya nandanti mitrani, labdva amritam iva amaraha. Just like when Devas got the Amritam, how joyous they were, that kind of a joy they will have. Means I am rest assured. So why did Deva was very happy? They settled one issue. They became Amaraha. Probably speaking in the story anyway. Tasma, therefore, Tomapicha Atmanam Niyamya Evam Samachara. Follow all these Rajaniti. So some lessons for a person to be Atmanigraha, some lessons on Rajaniti. Quickly, immediately at that time, the father gives these advices to the son. Then comes the fourth Sarga, 45 verses in this Sarga. Verses 1 to 10, Sumantra was sent again, immediately. Rama has just now gone. Sumantra was sent again to bring Rama. And there is a nice set of slokas there. Rama asks, why? What is the issue? Why is the father immediately calling me? So Sumantra gives a very interesting answer. There is one sloka. Sumantra says, father has called. Coming or not coming is your decision. There is a sloka like that. Father called you. Coming or not coming is your decision. Very nicely, there is only an 8th or 9th sloka. I don't remember exactly. There is one sloka which says that. Then anyway, Rama sort of, it only shows that joy that Rama has. When Sumantra came again, there is this anxiety in the mind. These are all very human behavior. Rama is portrayed as a human being in Ayodhya Kanda, the best. You will not find it in any other Kanda. In many other Kanda, you will see him like God. In Ayodhya Kanda, you will see him as Sakshat Manushya. That is why I always say Ayodhya Kanda must be read. Greatest, every Kanda is great. Ayodhya Kanda is because Rama is portrayed as a human being filled with emotion. He will pour and pour and pour his distress and his agony and his feelings. You just see as we go along. He's a human being. That's how it is portrayed. So, Dasaratha, there are some shlokas in which Dasaratha says there is a very urgent need to do Pattabhisheka. He tells Rama, he is in strict confidence only with Rama. Because you know why he called him again? Because the earlier situation was a court. There he cannot say a few things. Now he has called him to his private quarters. And he tells him a few things. I have picked up a few shlokas from there just to show you. Dasaratha feels something unusual. Therefore he calls and feels, his intuition. Therefore he says, no, this is very, very urgent. Tomorrow morning itself we have to have the Pattabhisheka. That's what he says there. Anyway, Rama says, and he also gives some instructions what you should do this night. All those are there. And then he returns back. On the way, he goes back to his mother's place. Nothing like the son saying, the parents, I have got an award. They will hear it in the news. India may win the World Cup and Kapil Dev may be the man of the match. But the day when Kapil Dev went and told it to the parents would have been a very special moment. As much as, Mahendra Singh Dhoni would have done it. That's a very different moment. So, Kausalya is happy. That is another type of happiness. Now the son goes to Kausalya and says, there's a lot of mood in those shlokas. I'll show you those shlokas a little bit. It's all human tendencies. That's what is portrayed by Valmiki here. So, Kausalya is very joyous. In fact, the interesting part is, this we all do. These are human beings we do. When good things happen, right? We call our relatives. Our relatives are at our home. A close relative, whom we think very, very close to us. So when he goes, Rama goes to see Kausalya, Lakshmana and Sumitra and Lakshmana's wife are there. They have been already called. This is what we do. It's all human behavior. When very good things happen, the person who are very close to heart, we call. We say, he is coming, why don't you come? That mood you see in this shloka, you have to read that mood. Valmiki is actually presenting in Ayodhya Kanda that we are all having feelings in life. But then finally in the last 12 Sargas, when he really made the feelings run its way, the Niti came at the end of Ayodhya Kanda. He said, don't think Rama was swayed by feelings. See Rama at the end. The climax of Ayodhya Kanda is the conversation of Bharata and Rama, which is to be read, must read. There the entire strength of Rama is gathered. The great Rama comes back with full force in that conversation. But now it's all putting the feelings out. Full of feelings, Ayodhya Kanda. So you'll see some shlokas. Anubhutani cheshtani maya vira sukhanyapi devarshi pitru vipranam anrunosmi tatatmanah. See, when you're great, you have been, many parents will have, I will need some more time to have this feeling. See, the son is married, the daughter is married. That time there is that sense of that, okay, I have discharged my Janma Sapa. There is a Janma Sapalata. That feeling is there. Dasaratha goes through that feeling now. Because he has this burden of the kingdom, he has finally made sure that the baton is going to pass. That is the feeling. It's all feeling. So he says, Anubhutani cheshtani maya vira sukhanyapi. I have experienced so many pleasures and feelings of different kind and all that, right? Devarshi Pitra Vipranam Anurna has me. Now I have delivered. I am waiting for this moment. My responsibility, the responsibility of a king is to make sure that the baton passed properly to the next person's hand. As much as the father says, when my son is married and when the son has got his, Santati Vriddhi, that day he will say, the purpose of my existence is over. Pitra Rina is over. That feeling comes now. That feeling is what is being saying. Deva Rina, Rishi Rina and Pitra Rina, all Vimochanam about. Anurna has me. Tata Atmana. It all is conveying the mood of everybody has their mood and feeling. That is what is being conveyed. So Dasaratha feels very satisfied. He feels over. Very purpose of my existence, my Putra Kameshti and all that has reached finally. That's what he says. Nakinchen mama kartavyam tavan yatra bishechanat ato yatva maham bruyam tanme tum kartum arhasi. There is nothing other than doing this Patabhisheka to you. There is nothing more to do. I have reached everything. He is at the brim of his fulfillment. That's why Anurna has me, he says. He says, Na kinchit mama kartavyam. There is nothing else that I need to achieve. I have reached that. Tava anyatra abhishechanat. Tava abhishechanat anyatra na kinchit mama kartavyam. That is the Anvayam. Other than doing the Patabhisheka, there is nothing more to do. Finished. Everything is over for me. See his mood. Imagine Dasaratha's state at this Sarga, at this situation. Right? Ataha, therefore, yat tu aham bruyam, therefore, what I say, you follow. There is this last mile, that one bit to be completed. After it is completed, everything is over. So we are in that penultimate stage. Therefore, whatever I say, you just follow. Kartum arhasi. Tom kartum arhasi. Tat me bruyam tat kartum arhasi. Whatever I say, you just follow, because this is this last mile that I have to solve. After that, there is nothing else for me to do. So this portrays this beautiful mood of Dasaratha. Everybody had great mood, including Kaikeyi. That mood was of a different kind. But this is life. It talks about life and people and their feelings. Right? Apichadya Shubhan Rama Swapne Pashyami Darunan Sanirghata Divolkacha Patatiha Mahaswana. Then he reveals his worry. He says, I am getting some dreams. There are some dreams. Swapna. Right? Apicha Adya Ashubhan Swapne Pashyami Ashubhan Darunan Swapne Pashyami. Hey Rama. That's what he's saying. Rama, I have been seeing some dreams. Now, Adya means these days. Need not be today. Of late. That is the meaning of Adya. I mean, language meaning is today. Basically, Adya means these days I am seeing some sort of a dream. Okay? Sanirgata diva ulka. Diva is the heavens. Ulka are those stars and meteors and so on. Patati iha. Mahaswana ulkaha patati iha. As though these great meteors are falling. The heavens are falling. Thunders are falling. Right? That is what I am seeing. There is this nirgataha. You know? This thunder and this meteor, all of them are falling. I am seeing sopnas like that. So there is some feeling of some bad woman, sort of a thing. So that's what he is saying. Tataha, therefore, so I want it, I have this tension now. This is the last thing to be done, but I am also seeing some sort of Ashubha Sagunaha. So, Shigram Karaniyam. We have to do it very fast. Tataha, Pushye, Tata Pushye Bishinchasva, Manastwarayiti Vamam, Shwastvaham abhishekshami yavvarajye parantapa. Tataha, therefore, pushye abhishinchasva. You let the Pattabhishekam happen on Pushya itself, which is tomorrow. Huh? Manaha tvarayati iva. See, my mind is beating fast. It is rushing. It is hastening me to say, do it tomorrow itself. Do it in Pushya itself. You could have seen probably waited for some more time. He doesn't want to wait. So he is now calling him and saying, there's people who think, just now the decision is made, why tomorrow? That he wants to tell him in person, in one-to-one. Okay? Shwaha, Shwastva aham abhishekshyami yavaraje parantap. So tomorrow itself I will do the Pattabhisheka. That's what Dasaratha tells to Rama. Viproshitancha bharataha yavadeva puraditaha tavadeva abhishekaste praptakalo mato mama. You see what he is saying?
He said that.
Oh.
So he knows it.
No, I will tell you, I will show you two more slokas. I will show you two more slokas. He says, Bharataha,
Away from the city.
Yavadeva puraditaha. Right? So he says, Tavadeva abhishekaha te praptakale mato mama. Bharata is away. His intuition is saying, better to do it now.
No intention, sir. He knows.
Yeah. In fact, you are right. You opened the bag, but I'll show you. If you see the next slokas, if you see the next few slokas, it was not intuition. We never lived in the same house where the Kaikeyi and all this. So we don't know what was going on. Valmiki brings like that, right?
Anyway, that's how the father will tell the son also.
So look at the next two shlokas, where it is even more put in a little more detail. Right? Kamam kalu satam vritte brata te bharatastitaha jeshtanuvarti dharmatma sanukrosho jitendriyaha. This is a beautiful shloka. We have to understand this fact of life. First of all, what Dasaratha did in this shloka, he put Bharata on the highest pedestal. Highest pedestal. What did he say? Jeshta Anuvarti. He is like you. Right? Anuvarti for what? Dharmatma. Right? Anukroshaha jitendriyaha. He is actually perfection embodied. That is the second line says, Jeshtanuvarti dharmatma sa anukroshaha jitendriyaha. He is compassionate, self-controlled, everything. Then look at the first line. This is a fact of life for every one of us. If Valmiki can say this to Bharata, it applies to all of us. What he says, Kamam kalu satam vritte bratate bharatastitaha. Right? Always he has been actually following you. All that is fine. In the second sloka only he brings, even with all that, what will happen? What can happen? Because this is a warning. It is not about Bharata. Bharata was the highest form of bhakti. It is not about Bharata. But it is about the fact of life that all of us will go through. It is about human being possibilities. The four brothers are par excellence is a different story, but the story is not about the four brothers alone. Story is about Vyavahara. The story is about Jivana. The story is about what will happen in everybody's life. That is what this story is about. So what does he say? Kintu, the next sloka, what does he say? Kintu chittam manushyanam anityamiti me matihi. It's a great wisdom. Kintu chittam manushyanam anityamiti me matihi satam cha dharma nityanam kritashobi cha raghava. If that is the statement for somebody who is dharma nityanam kritashobi satam cha, people who are very righteous, whose thoughts are not wandering, for them, themselves, what he is saying, Chittam manushyanam nityam, anityam iti me matihi. Fickleness can attack every one of us. These are all Jivana Shastra. Ramayana gives you Jivana Shastra. However, you are at the height of your thing, there can be that one split moment when you lose it. That's what it is saying. We saw it again and again in Vishwamitra until he reached that perfection. In those 15 sargas, we saw it in Balakanda. That's what he's saying. So Valmiki gives a lot of Jivana Shastra. Principles of life. So he says, even for a person who has such a nice, Dharmatma and all that, the Kritoshaha, Kritashaha, all those, even for them, please understand, Manushyanam Chittam Anityam. Manushyanam Chittam Anityam. Please understand that. Our mind, however we keep in control, there can be a split moment when it can go out of control. That's a warning not for him. It's a warning for the entire mankind. This is a lesson for mankind which Valmiki gives through this story. That's what he says. That's why he was very anxious to do that. It so happened it was not him, it was somebody else. But that's the message here. So Rama leaves. So therefore there are some instructions given also. You should be in, you should do, you and Sita must do some special vrata overnight, all that. Dasaratha says. Those are over. Then we are moving in the story. Tata saniyamam eva sobigamya bivadhya cha uvacha vachanam Rama harshayantam aninditam. The son goes to the mother. That is the proudest moment to say what I have achieved. The son goes to the mother. Right? That is what is described in this shloka. It says, Tata saniyamameva saha abhigamya abhivadya cha. He went. Also he offered his pranams. Vivadya cha uvacha vachanam Rama. Rama said, but then there is something which Valmiki put after that. Harshayan, he was bubbling with happiness. Because that child, that every son, he may be I am sure, Narendra Modi, when he met his mother, he would have had the same feeling. He may be the Prime Minister of India, but that putra, matu pitra sambandha astikla. Tatra vaisishtyam tu anyat. That is what is being brought here. Harshayan stam aninditam. It's an adjective on Kausalya. With great happiness, he told to his mother, Abhivadya Abhigamyacha. Approached her, went to her, prostrated to her, and with great happiness, he said. So what did he say? Amba. The word Amba, these words are all used to actually communicate emotions in Sanskrit. Muda, or Muda Jahihi Dhanagama Trishna. Aishankara uses the word Muda only in a few places. In Bhajagovinda, he was very emotional. Muda Mate, Nahi Nahi Rakshati Dugrinj Karane, Bhajagovindam, Govindam Bhaja Muda Mate. See, that was not talking down on somebody. Amba, Tata, Muda, these are all used when you are very emotional. So Adishankara was so emotional. This old man, without knowing that, if you can show bhakti, you can reach that ultimate truth. Instead of that, he started reading Vyakarna. Dugrinj Karane is a Dhatu Pata. Why? Because that old man thought that all these great truths are in great texts. In order to know the great texts, I have to read Sanskrit. Somebody told, if you have to know Sanskrit, you have to start Vyakarna. Somebody said, if you have to have Vyakarna, you have to start Dhatu Pata. So he was sitting in the river side and reading Dugrinj Karne, Dugrinj Karne, Dugrinj Karne. Then he said, Bhaja Govindam, He Mudamate. Samprapte Sannihite Kale. You almost reached. You are going to die now. Samprapte Sannihite Kale, Nahi Nahi Rakshati Dugrinj Karne. Reading Dugrinj Karne is not going to help you at all. There he used the word Muda. Then he said, Muda Jahihi Dhanagama Trishna. 2-3 times he used Muda there. He was very emotional. So when you are emotional, certain words are. Amba is a word which shows a happy closeness and emotion. So he calls his mother Amma, Amba. It's an expression of mood. So Amba, he calls his mother Amba, Pitra Niktosvi. I am appointed by my father. See that pride and happiness with which he is saying. Pitra Niktosmi Prajapalana Karmani. I have been appointed to be taking care of all the people. Father has appointed me to take care of the people. Look at the mood of that statement. Right? Pitra Niktosmi Prajapalana Karmani. Bhavita. Tomorrow I am going to become. Bhavita Shwaha Abhishekaha Me Yata Me Sashanam Pituhu. Father is going to put me, he is going to do Tavshe and make me the king of this place. So these are all about happy mood of Rama. And the joy of saying that to the mother, although the mother knows it. That is another kind of joy. This is a different joy. That is what is coming here. Yani yan yatra yogyani shweva vinyabhishechane tani me mangalan yadya vaidekhyas karaya. He is giving instruction to his mother. These are all happy moods. He is conveying that actually. So what is he saying? Yani yani yatra yogyani shwa abhavini anya abhishechane. Right? What are all the things required so that this act happens properly? Is Bhattavshega. Nirvignam bhavitavyam. For that, right? Tani mangalani. All these are connected. Yani, yani, yogyani, all that. Tani, mangalani, yogyani, all those are related to one another. Right? All auspicious things you do to me and Sita so that everything goes as per plan. And tomorrow I become the king. There's so much of mood being poured by Rama. Like any human being who is happy being told you are going to lead. You are going to lead the country. So those are all coming here. Expressed through these feelings. Kalyane bata nakshatre mai jatosi putraka yena tvaya Dasaratha gunairaradita pita. So the mother's mood is expressed so beautifully here. Mother is equally happy. Not only the son, the mother also shows her happiness, no? Valmiki has put some shlokas for that. So what he is saying? Kalyane bata nakshatre, kalyane nakshatre bata mai jatosi putraka. Now I know you are born on a very auspicious star and auspicious time. She feels very proud of her son becoming the king of the Koshala. Right? So that is what Ayodhya, all that. So he says, Kalyane bata nakshatre mai jatosi putraka. No wonder you are born on a very, very auspicious, lucky star and all that. Yenatvaya, because of that, Yenatvaya Dasaratha gunaihi araditaha pita. That is why, your father knows about all your virtues. So she shows her joy like that. Right? Amogam batame kshantam purushe pushkare kshane yeyam ikshwa kurajyashri putratvam samsrayishyati. Mogam means vyartam, not moham. Moha we know. This is mogha. Mahaprana. Mogha means vyarta. Amogha is not wasted. It's a negative, no? Amogam. These bata, all these are exclamatory remarks. These are the showing that she is in a happy mood. Your previous shloka also is a bata. That is translated as water joy. It is just hanging separately, water joy. These are all the prayogas. When you write, this, as I said, Amba, Tata, it brings mood and the emotion in addition to the message. So it's the bata. The bata is that. Okay? Me kshantam purushe pushkare kshane. All that kshanti that I showed, that endurance, that forbearance, that putting up all that through so many things which I did, right? has not gone in vain. Amogam. Make Shantam Amogam. Purushe Pushkarane make Shantam Amogam. All that the great effort I took. I think in Uttarakhand there is some description of this, if I vaguely remember. This part of it, I think, is there. What is Kausalya's this thing? I think so. Or maybe I'll have to check actually.
No, that Yajna, sir, in Yajna, Kausalya's soul was very, very.
No, that we saw here, but there is some more also actually. Ayam Ikshvaku Rajyashrihi. Yaha Ayam Ikshvaku Rajyashrihi. Putratvam Samsrayishyashi. That is because of all that great effort that I put, right? You are going to be the lineage of the Ikshvaku Kula. That's what he says. It is actually the, Ikshvaku Rajyasya Shrihi. You are the fortune of the Ikshvaku Kula itself. That Ikshvaku Rajyasya Shrihi, the Tatpurusha, the Ikshvaku Rajyashrihi. Okay? Ikshvaku Rajyasya Shrihi. You are like that, Putram Tvam Samsrayishyasi. That is how, the whole things of my effort has not gone wasted at all. Is what Kausalya says. So in this Sarga, in this fourth Sarga, there is a lot of this mood of Dasaratha, the fear and all the realities of life, Rajaniti, for the Niti for us to live, the reality of life in terms of the joy of a person when he is told you are going to lead the show, the joy of a mother, the joy of a son, all that Valmiki has beautifully portrayed in this particular Sarga. I think I am done with this Sarga. So we'll do a Mangala Shloka and then we will stop it. Fifth Sarga onwards we will see. Swasti prajabhya paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahishaha go brahmanebhyo shubhamastu nityam loka samasta sukhino bhavantu kale varshatu parjanyaha prithvi sasya shalini deshoyam kshobarahitah brahmana santu nirbhayah aputra putrinas santu pautrinah adhana sadhana santu jivantu sharadam shatam shrinvan Ramayanam bhaktya yappadam padamevava sayati brahmanastanam brahmana pujyate sada. Harihi Om. Okay, thank you.